I am so proud of you. So thank you.
Wow.
It's been a love affair for years.
Love affair for years.
Yeah, thank you.
And this is just so wonderful because
Thank you.
obviously I want to talk about the turmoil that we're seeing in the
Right.
markets. I mean, people are just so frightened with everything going on. You know, what do I do with my money? But most importantly, I really want to talk to you about life today. I mean, here we are at your magnificent property.
Thank you.
But just off when we were chatting offline, you were saying you used to drive by here when you couldn't afford to live here, saying,
That's from
were
me.
you manifesting it back then?
Well, when you have nothing, you do whatever you can, you know. This is called the Biltmore Circle. And in Arizona and Phoenix, the circle's it. So my wife Kim and I would drive past it. We go, that's our house,
Wow.
that's our house, that's our house. Or that's for me. There was a guy named Reverend Ike. He's
Yeah.
a black evangelist. He used to always say, that's for me. He says, you can't lose with the stuff I use, you know. And so Reverend Ike, I just loved. So Kim and I would drive past this place and go, that's
Yeah.
for me. And one day a for sale sign came up. And it was put up or shut up. And we still had no money, but we took a run at
But
this
you
place.
did it anyways.
Yeah.
I love that.
27 years ago now.
I wanted to share something with you today. I don't think I've ever told you this. This is when I was in my 20s and I was starting this path that I'm on now. You were one of the first people I interviewed.
Wow.
And I remember you were telling me the school system is awful. You know, and here I was right out of the school system almost and a lover of the system. I'm thinking
Right.
it wasn't resonating with me what you were saying at the time.
Right.
I was like, why does Robert hate school so much? Not school per se, but what they're teaching. And today, I'm not going to say how many years later, I finally understand what you were trying to teach me then.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
It goes back to the story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. My poor dad was a PhD, Stanford, Northwestern, University of Chicago. Poor as a church mouse. And I couldn't understand that. Why does he stay in school if he's poor? And he kept saying, if you study hard, someday you'll be rich. I said, Dad, all you do is study. You're still poor. And the question is, why don't our schools teach us about money? And so Rich Dad was a man who never went to school. And of course, you know, he is running a little store. His father died and he took over at 13. So Rich Dad grew up in the real world. And so today, Rich Dad started teaching his son and me when we're 10 years old. And he taught us playing Monopoly. You know, 4 greenhouses, 1031 tax-free exchange into a red hotel. So I'm playing Monopoly with him. I'm 10 years old. By the time I was 12, Rich Dad said to me, it's time for you to go collect rent. Collect rent?
Right.
I said, well, how's that part of my education? Let's go collect rent. So I go knocking on doors as a kid. I never heard such bullshit my whole life. And so I came back to Rich Dad's office. This is in Hawaii. And my Rich Dad said, what'd you learn? I said, the same words the renters who weren't paying, only people who were late in paying their rent was knocking on the doors. The same words they use, my poor dad uses. You rich are crooks. You got to take advantage of us. Can't you see I have no money? I'm a poor man and all this. And I said, the poor who don't pay their rent sound like my dad. And Rich Dad says, that's the lesson. I'm not really religious, he said, but from the Bible.
Right.
And the word becomes flesh. And ever since then, going back to this house, I never say I can't afford it.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
said, poor people say I can't afford it more than rich people. And what rich people say, how can I afford it? And so when Kim and I are right around this place, we go, that's for me.
Yes.
And that's for me.
Yes.
We never said we couldn't afford it.
That's another lesson that you
Yeah.
taught me that I've always
Yeah.
taken with me. Do not say, oh, you see a nice Ferrari, don't say, oh, I can't afford that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's a poor man's words.
But, you know, getting back to, you know, the school, right? The education, because I think about this a lot, especially now that I have young kids. And it's not that I don't want them to go to college
Yes.
one day. Of course, I want them to, but not for traditional reasons. Because I think what message that you were delivering is that, well, not only are they not teaching you about money and actual things we need to know about life, they're not teaching you about taxes, that's for sure, but they also box you in, Robert. Right. Oh, you're good in math. Okay, you could go to pre-med.
Got it.
Oh, you're good in poli-sci. Okay, you could be a political journalist. They box you in, right? It's like you can't find your own path. You're taking these tests, like what aptitude tests, or this is what you should do for your career. It's just all nonsense.
Correct.
And so when I reflect back on my education, I don't think I can count on one hand the number of remarkable teachers I had. I had few, but most teachers were quite bad, right?
Right.
Were quite bad. What I did take away from school was the network, my friendships.
Correct.
Right. So there is some value to school. Would you not agree?
Well, there's nothing more important than education.
Right.
Nothing. But that's when in 1965, I read this book here. So ironically, what did I flunk out of school for? Writing.
Exactly.
I can't write.
So they would have said, never become an author.
Yeah.
And here you are. Where is it?
Well, anyway.
What? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah,
right?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I mean, New York Times bestseller.
25 years, it's still number one in the world.
But don't become a writer.
I can't write.
Right.
So anyway, I go to school in New York, on Long Island, and my economics teacher says, this is the first book you'll read. I thought that was interesting, as a military school. And then I realized my family are Marxist. They're not bad people, please hear me. They believe in taxation. They believe in the rich are evil. Marx was against the capitalists because he thought they stole from the working people and all this stuff. So this book changed my life too. I went, wow. Because what he says is communism would take over America in two stages. Stage one was 1930, when Columbia University hired teachers from Hitler's regime or from communism in Germany to teach at Columbia University's Teachers College. That was step one. Stage two was when my friend here, Donald Trump, lost the election due to ballot boxes. And as Stalin said, it's not who votes that counts, it's who counts the votes. And Danielle, the saddest thing about today, this is November 2023, I don't trust the elections. Carrie Lake, who ran for governor of Arizona, they had all kinds of election fraud here. So that's my concern, is if our entire system is permeated by Marxist schools, what chance do we have as a free country?
I mean, are you hopeful that there will be a change in the system?
It's systemic. It's like our blood.
Right.
It's our thoughts. And remember,
yeah.
And the word became flesh. And when Rich Dad said to me, he said, poor people say those words. They don't even know they're saying them. I can't be rich, or you're rich or crooks, or you steal from us. Their words reflect their insight. And going back to one more character is, I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.